Top of the afternoon to you, and welcome into the Ryan Ripken Show. Hey, happy Wednesday. It is January 21st. This is episode 122, and we got a great show for you. We actually had to do a pre-recording just because of travel and time sensitivity, but we have a lot of topics. We got updates on coaching searches. We have a Raven joining us this afternoon. We'll get to the headliners in just a second. And the Yankees are on the board with a big free agent move. We'll get into all that and a whole lot more. It is like I think I saw maybe Tori put it out, Wild Card Wednesday with our crazy theories, conspiracies. Maybe we talk about that. But we also got to talk about what happened in Buffalo with that press conference. So there's a whole lot here we're going to get into. We'll show the headliners for the show here in just a second. Actually, Zach, throw up the headliners real quick. Let's throw them up. Boom. We just sat down with Gary Kubiak, Super Bowl winning head coach Gary Kubiak. We're going to play some clips there so you guys can see it all. Ravens linebacker Teddye Buchanan, recurring guest now, will be his second time joining the show. He will be with us during this first hour. And then Cody Bellinger is the one that's going to the New York Yankees. So those are the headlines, not pictured. That Buffalo Bills press conference, which was something.
Disaster class.
Oh, my goodness. That is disaster class 101. What not to do. We could go off on that. But first, Zach, happy Wednesday, my friend. How we doing?
Every time you just wrongly,
Yeah, why don't you move over?
Every time you just wrongly say the episode number, I can only imagine I feel the same way Keon Coleman felt watching or I'm like, it's not true. It's just not true. Like, what are we doing here? Unreal. Yeah, I will say, a lot of people talked about, are the Ravens and Bills jobs similar, on the same page? Are they the same level? Like, are the Bills better? I don't know if you're feeling really confident going into that dynamic right now where it's all your fault. Even stuff that is on camera and videos have now surfaced again from before the Keon Coleman draft. We'll get into all that, but what a way to start your head coaching search of being like, yeah, we're going to trash the other guy. Let's trash this guy.
I know when you get to a certain point, right, you're going to, hey, you don't give a shit. You can talk how you want, but I just wonder, was it different in the mind? And then you look back after and go, oh boy, that didn't come out good. Oh man, people are going to be pissed off, because that's what happened in Buffalo. We'll get into that in just a second, but if you are new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show, we're live from 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern time right here on YouTube, X, and Facebook. And we're also on Spotify and Apple, so hit that subscribe button. We would appreciate that quite a bit. You know what? I think this first topic with Buffalo is great for us getting into the Gary Kubiak interview, which we will have the full interview out later on. And our channel members, you guys have found out our guest before we announced it. And I like to think on the Ryan Ripken Show, we don't like to always broadcast who's coming on. It's almost like you need to tune in to know. You need to tune in to who's coming on next. Because actually tomorrow, channel members, you're going to find out. We got another guest that's coming on tomorrow. This is the only hint. He's a baseball guy. And if you like baseball, you like Baltimore baseball, then you're definitely going to like this guy. He'll join us tomorrow. But Zach, let's, for those who hadn't seen this Buffalo Bills press conference situation, let me walk you through it for a second. So Brandon Beane and believe it was Terry Pagula, the owner, why can't I pronounce this? Pagula, Unique New York, owner of the Bills. They had a press conference today. And it was essentially, debriefing on the season, why they moved on from head coach Sean McDermott. And like that part's all fine. It started to get a little bit personal then when there was a question surrounding, personnel and a guy like Keon Coleman, which it was so out of left field, that Brandon Beane was making his comments and the Bills owner just took over and it turned out to be a disaster. So, Zach, let's play that clip of that situation.
Interrupt. I'll address the Keon situation. The coaching staff pushed to draft Keon. I'm not saying Brandon wouldn't have drafted him, but he wasn't his next choice. That was Brandon being a team player and taking advice of his coaching staff, who felt strongly about the player. And, he's taken, for some reason, heat over it and not saying a word about it, but I'm here to tell you the true story.
Okay, so Brandon Beane's not taking heat for the Keon Coleman situation per se. He's taking heat because of the amount of Pro Bowl talent that's been drafted, Zach. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, it was something because there had been some rumors that maybe Sean McDermott had gotten into an altercation, a discussion with Brandon Beane about 5-6 weeks ago, or before his firing, 5-6 weeks before his firing. I guess that's the same timeline because he was just fired a few days ago. But about kind of, hey, we don't have this big wide receiver. Rumors came out that they were close to acquiring Jalen Waddle, but didn't want to budge on what year the first-round pick was. Stuff about pass rush, things like that. And then this kind of snowballed into a weird Keon Coleman hate press conference, which is just talk about a guy who's had a brutal social media year between this and Cam Newton. Keon Coleman, just that's how we got to these comments, which, Ryan, as you brought up, and we talked about a little bit a few minutes ago, some video from recent years is resurfacing because you can go back and maybe say, oh, this is what happened, but you can't rewrite what the tape don't lie.
The tape don't lie. And actually, we're in a day and age where it feels like everything's recorded. Well, this was recorded from the draft sequence with Keon Coleman. And here's Brandon Beane talking about Keon Coleman when he was drafted. Zach, let's play it.
That night, I was like, it's Keon unless someone just blows us away. We didn't feel anything was attractive enough for us to pass up on Keon.
Whole thing's considered. Just get the guy who's feels the best fit. Yep.
So here's the thing. As I mean this respectfully. I don't really give a shit if it was Sean McDermott and the staff wanted Keon Coleman more or Brandon Beane wanted Keon Coleman more. That part to me is irrelevant because the context of this situation is how it was presented. And take out the fact that Keon Coleman's situation, hey, look, what's happened on the field for Keon, it's been a disaster. And being suspended, it just hasn't been a good year for him. But taking that all aside, two things that happened in the press conference today. One, you're sitting there after seeing that clip of going, what is the truth? I still am doubting what you're saying to us. You're creating doubt. But then number two, is this the moment that you want to dive in on one specific player on your team where you just let go your head coach that had brought you the most success over the last decade that the Bills have had in quite some time? You just had a heartbreaking loss, and then it's the thrown in, well, actually, the coaching staff wanted Keon Coleman here, and I wanted to make that point. And then on top of it, you could say what you want about, again, what's happened with Keon Coleman this year. It was so out of left field to do that. And by the way, Keon Coleman, Zach, is still on the roster, right? He hasn't gone anywhere yet.
That's the biggest thing that I'm like, this is not like, and no disrespect to Matt Elam, but this isn't like the Ravens in the press conference about John Harbaugh were like, well, John had some more say in, some draft picks. If you remember, Matt Elam didn't work out for us. That was someone, John was pounding the table for. It's not a guy drafted years ago. This is a 22-year-old that is on your team coming off his second year. Mm-hmm. Like, this is not his story's not done. And I'll tell you something. Buffalo players have been very vocal about how upset they are that Sean McDermott was canned.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen the posts about it. You see them retweeting stuff about how stupid it is. It's, a harsh decision. They just jumped into this. What are they doing? How can we do that? He was the best coach I've ever played for. So you have that drama going on. Now you're singling out players. And not only that, Buffalo's not really in a run it back situation. They need to add to this team. So you're now going to pitch to players, hey, why don't you come here? If it doesn't work out, we might single you out in a press conference about how disastrous that would be. I know the players aren't really happy with the organization right now. I know we're calling people out. I know it doesn't look like it's functioning correctly. But why don't you come here? Why don't you come here? And what coach is going to? I just think this was it is a complete 180 from the Ravens press conference. The Ravens press conference, you left there and you were like, Steve Bisciotti is one tough SOB. He runs this thing the way it's supposed to be. He doesn't put up with anything, and they're going to find the best guy. You left the Buffalo one, and you were like, what just happened? Mm-hmm. And not in a positive way. You left the what just happened in a positive way. Cordell talked about it yesterday, about being in that press conference room with Bisciotti, and you're like, oh, there's power here. Like, you felt it. You felt something like almost monumental was happening. Mm-hmm. In Buffalo, it was like a car wreck you couldn't take your eyes off of. You're like, oh, my God, it's still going. Like, why are they not turning his mic
Surely
off?
This is going to stop.
Exactly.
Like, surely this is going to stop.
Am I getting pranked? Like, that's how it felt.
And that's the bigger part here. It's two different ways. The power that Bisciotti displayed was more of he was asked some very critical questions. And he was even asked some questions where some people were like, damn, Steve, that's cold. But if you think about it, and that one question was about, is Harbaugh still the coach if Luke makes the kick? And yeah, you could say, damn, Steve, that's cold. But he's like, for a week. But through all of it, he talked about how much he loves John Harbaugh and what they did for years. So no one's thrown under the bus. It was a very objective but powerful press conference. This one was trying to look for power. It created tension. It created questions. And people were wondering, is Baltimore or Buffalo the better head coaching job right now? By the way, Buffalo fans, I know people are going to get on social media and go, Buffalo fans are crazy. Go to Buffalo. The citizens of Buffalo going up there are a passionate, fun fan base. And they were there's a couple of people that I know, they were upset with the firing of Sean McDermott. But they are a passionate and proud group. That has to feel really weird for them. This has to feel really strange. Like if what happened in Buffalo happened in Baltimore, holy crap. And also then saying about, if you thought there was a lot of Lamar Jackson discourse before then, can you imagine what it would be like now? Oh, the Ravens are a mess. They should get rid of Lamar. And still people have crazy rumors out about that.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's stupid. But anyway, to me, there's no question of what is the best head coaching job available. It's Baltimore. And you got to look at the infrastructure, look at the organization. And in this case, don't take our word for it. Take the word of people that have come through Baltimore. Yesterday, it was Mike Pettin, who started his coaching career with the Baltimore Ravens. Well, today, we had to pre-record it, and you guys will see it all later, but we have some clips from our sit-down with Super Bowl winning head coach Gary Kubiak, because he has a lot of connections going on right now. His son is currently the offensive coordinator for the Seahawks. That is potentially a head coach candidate, not just for Baltimore, but other head coaching openings. Then he has other sons as well that he said, I believe it was San Francisco offensive coordinator, yep, and his son's personnel in Dallas. Was that?
Yeah. Clay is the OC in San Fran, and Klein is a scout for the Cowboys.
So runs in the family, man. And it was so cool to hear him talk about that. So he gave great insight to the family dynamic. What he was had some of the other head coaching candidates like Vance Joseph and Anthony Weaver, who we will get his opinions on here in just a little bit. But here's the thing. Gary Kubiak, when he got fired from the Texans, where did he go? He came to Baltimore. And he came to Baltimore, and he has nothing but praise. So, Zach, to kick this off of still with so much uncertainty of what can happen next with Baltimore, one thing is for certain, this organization is top-notch. So here's Gary Kubiak's comments on Baltimore.
About Baltimore, I tell you, I was in Denver in my career between playing, coaching, probably 26 years, something like that. That's amazing. But I had 1 year stop in Baltimore, and it probably was as good for me as a coach as any stop I ever had, because I just got let go in Houston. I sat there, I run the offense in Baltimore, I get back in the classroom, I get back into teaching, but I got to watch a great coach run his team, and it really, really helped me. And I owe John so much, and Eric and Ozzie, for them giving me an opportunity to pass through there, so to speak. It really helped me in my career.
And so after that, if you guys do remember, Gary Kubiak went on to Denver after this, and the Broncos won the Super Bowl, which was 10 years ago now, which he brings up in that Clint has a chance to go back and play, or the Seahawks have a chance to go to the Super Bowl and play in San Francisco, which 10 years ago, where the Broncos beat the Panthers. It was 10 years ago out in San Francisco. But Zach, I think that just puts the nail in the coffin there. I always like to say, don't take all of these rumors and everything that's out there, because there is so much. The biggest value I always take from people is the peers, working with people that have been involved. Let them be the one to tell you the story. And yes, of course, there's going to be some outliers where maybe things didn't go as well. But Zach, this is once again another very successful coach, very successful, having all the praise in the world for a guy like John Harbaugh, but saying that this Ravens organization is a big reason why he was able to get back on his feet and then go and lead a Broncos team to a Super Bowl. I think that speaks volumes to what a head coach, where he's looking. Baltimore, if they want him, Baltimore's a place you should be.
Yeah, and it is one of those things where every coach that we've had on just raves about whether it's their time in Baltimore, whether it's, for Vetton, where it was multiple. It was 6 or 7 seasons. And then Kubiak, just a single one, where everyone kind of reiterates the same thing of this place is a spot where everyone should, no matter how long or short, get an opportunity to be at, because it's that special. It's that well run. And I think it speaks volumes that each time one of the first people they bring up is Steve. And I think we talk about there are some bad owners in sports. Like, let's just call it what it is. There are bad owners in sports. Steve Bisciotti falls under the guys, that category of guys you want to coach for, guys you want to play for. And I think that does speak volumes, not only to the fan base and, Baltimore, but every coach, whether it's former or potential future coach of the Ravens, of like, hey, this is a place you want to be. You ask anyone who's been around there, it's not just, Harbaugh established a culture. Harbaugh was incredible at getting here, knowing the culture, knowing the standard, and saying, hey, we're not only going to do this, but we're going to raise the bar and set a new standard in Baltimore.
Oh, yeah,
and and exactly, now we're at the point where it's keeping it going. And I think it is very important that all these coaches speak so glowingly of Baltimore from the beginning to now. Mike Pettine was only with Harbaugh for 1 year, and he still talked about Baltimore as this place that you got to be. You grow up so much there. You learn so much there, where I do think when we're talking about organizational stability, it's why I give them credit, even though I do not think they have a good roster, especially moving forward, especially an aging roster going forward. It's why the Steelers' job is so appealing. That's a damn good, well-run organization. That's an organization you point to and you're like, yeah, I know that they're going to get it done. I know they're going to run it well. And I think that means a lot for coaches, especially like Mike Pettine said yesterday, when you're a head coach, most of your job is putting out fires, making sure everything's good. If there aren't a lot of fires to put out, if there aren't a lot of issues to have to handle, that's a big head start. Then you can actually focus on what you want to do, coach. You can make sure the team is the best it could be. because when you're running around, it's hard. It's hard to do that. It's hard to focus on everything. So coming to an organization where you know the best is good, you can put your best foot forward because you're going to have the opportunity to do something special and not deal with all the other things behind the scenes that then you kind of take the blame for.
Yeah.
I think that is important, especially if you're going to be a first-time head coach.
It means a lot to have an infrastructure. And only few times do we see in organizations where first-time head coaches come in to an organization that is dysfunctional and they last for a long period of time. There are some outliers, but typically when you look back at history, it doesn't. There's a reason why when you look at the Jets, there's been a lot of issues over the years. And when you look at other teams like the Browns, where Mike Pedden, he didn't bring it up in the interview, and I mean, I don't blame him. The whole situation, what was going on there? The whole Johnny Manziel situation. You were trying to find a quarterback, and you're having this internal battle, not just with personnel, but who knows what else is going on in the building. And he even saying you have to handle everything. Meanwhile, you're understanding this might be your first and last head coaching gig. It's a hard thing. And not everyone's going to always be fortunate enough to be in those situations. But it's any job. You can make the most of your opportunities, but when you're going to a group where the standard is set, man, you can really thrive. Why is Mike Macdonald, in my opinion, thriving so much in Seattle? Well, yeah, Seattle they got great players over there right now. Mike Macdonald's a hell of a coach, it looks like. He looks like a star. But you know what? Seattle Seahawks have done a fantastic job as an organization. You can tell there is stability over there in Seattle, and that has allowed Mike Macdonald to continue to shine through and everyone else below him. It's all in sequence. So if you are new to the channel, by the way, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show. We're live Monday through Friday from 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern time right here on YouTube, X, and Facebook. And I see the comments on Facebook, X, and YouTube. I know the most of our following is on YouTube where people are interacting on the chat. We appreciate you guys. And we appreciate the channel members, which you found out our guests before everybody else. So if you would like, that's just one of the perks. But you want to see what's going on, click that join button next to subscribe and become a channel member. Become a good kid, or hell, better yet, become a better kid on YouTube. Zach, before Teddye Buchanan joins us, who was just named to the all-rookie team, why don't we play this last clip of Gary Kubiak? And don't worry, when I mean last, you guys are going to see the full interview. We're going to release it later on today. But we asked Gary Kubiak about specifically some head coaching candidates. And we went through from his son Clint, there's a lot of buzz around him, to other guys like Anthony Weaver and Vance Joseph. So, Zach, if we got that clip, let's play it for everyone.
You've done it for a career like I did, and you've got young kids that are involved in it and coaching, and they're part of good programs. I think that the great thing about being a sounding board for young coaches that are getting mentioned, so to speak, I'll use that word, for head jobs, is to be able to talk to them about, a career, and talk to them about patience, and talk to them about, when it's the right time to do this or that. So I think if anything for me as a dad, I try to talk to them about, our career path. They're both working for, Clint's career path has been different than my son Clay's. Clint worked for me for a couple of years, but other than that, he's really been around defensive football coaches with his growth. So his development and his, philosophy has grown in a different way. My son Clay, his path's a lot like mine. He's working for one of the great offensive minds in football, and I work for his dad. And, I work for Coach Shanahan. So he's growing up under an offensive football coach. So I just think it's important. How are you growing as a coach? How are you preparing, for an opportunity someday? But when you start to think about these guys like that are being mentioned, like you start with Weave, you look at Weave's career as a coach. Weave played for me. And so it's easy for me to sit here in this interview and tell you guys, Anthony Weaver is a class act. He is a great, great person. He's somebody that you as an owner or a GM, you can lay your head down at night knowing that he's running something for you because he's such a good person. and his background of coaching, how he came up, and it's been primarily as a Raven, so he knows what the expectations are. He knows how they work there. He knows, he's so embedded in their program, which is an amazing thing. So Weave's going to be a great coach. Any opportunity he gets. You look at a guy like VJ worked for me here in Houston. I've known Vance a long, long time because he's a Colorado guy, and obviously that was the biggest part of my career being in Denver. But Vance is a battle-tested coach. He has done it all. I mean, he's been a coordinator for a long time. He's been around extreme success, and he's been through some tough times, and that's coaching. And you want guys like that because they're battle-tested in the business. I mean, look what Vance went through 2 years ago. They gave up 70 points in Miami, and Sean sticks behind him, and look where they are right now this weekend. So he knows what this league's all about. He knows how hard it is. He's been around a lot of great coaches, offensively and defensively, and somebody's going to whoever gets it, gives Vance another chance, is going to get a guy who is extremely battle-tested in the business of the NFL, because you need to be.
Thought it was a great answer. And again, a guy that knows these guys in and out. And one thing I want to just point out with this, battle tested for Vance Joseph. I think that's a great way to describe him. And it doesn't mean that you're going to have the success moving forward. And we've seen it. Great defensive coordinators or offensive coordinators don't necessarily make great head coaches. But being battle tested sounds like one of Vance Joseph's strengths. Anthony Weaver sounds like a guy that knows how to lead men, hates losing, like Penn talked about yesterday, passionate, contagious energy. And then his son, Clint, which, look, the Kubiaks, man, they know how to scheme up some things on offense. That is just in their DNA, and there's a track record. And I do believe the Kubiaks, plural, are going to have a head coaching opportunity, whether that's going to be this year, next year, in the future. But I do believe we are going to see that, Zach. And Gary talked even more. This whole interview was great. So if you're watching us right now, you know what? I might put the Gary Kubiak interview out on Spotify and Apple, but for sure it will be out on YouTube later today. You don't want to miss it. He was fantastic. And if you are new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. It is the Ryan Ripken Show, and we are live Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on YouTube, X, and Facebook. And you can listen on Spotify and Apple or wherever you get your podcast. After we do the show, it will be recorded then. You can listen to it, though. It would be great if you guys continue to hit those follow buttons, subscribe. Keep getting the good word out, getting a good workout. I do need a good workout. That is true. But that's not what I meant to say. But yes, keep.
Shout out Merit Clubs.
Shout out Merit Clubs right there. Hey, how you doing? It's been, and look, the interviews and who we got, it's not going to stop. Hell, I was told, Zach, I'm not a football guy. And, maybe I'm not. I just like to think, though, I'm a conversationalist. I like to have fun. I like to be able to talk to people.
Did someone check you on that? Were they like, you're not a football guy?
I just have been told that, I had, you know what?
No,
why is that funny to you?
I just thought that was fun. Like, I didn't know someone bring that up to you.
Yes, multiple times. Like in the sports media industry. Well, you're just a baseball guy. I'm like, well, I don't have to. I played baseball. I understand baseball. I follow sports religiously. I played a bunch of sports growing up. Also grew up around sports the entire time. There's some stories.
Just don't get it.
You just don't get it.
You just don't get it.
You just don't get it. Oh, sugar. All right. Well, before we continue on with this stream and get to our next guest, Zach, why don't we leave this stream and go to our AutoStream Car Care Center? AutoStream Car Care Center. They have 10 locations throughout Maryland, and we are partnered with them through 2026. And, man, that is – I kept thinking that was a good photo of me. It's debatable here. Maybe we can ask Teddye what he thinks of that. I don't think it's that bad. But you know what isn't bad? $50 off when you mention Ryan Ripken. We all have car issues. It's inevitable. So go to AutoStream Car Care Center. Goodness gracious, Ryan, get it together.
It's hump day.
It is hump day. Go over the hump. But $50 off any service. Brakes, tires, you name it, $50 off. Just mention Ryan Ripken. Now, from this stream back to this stream, Zach, It's been great. You guys heard we had Gary Kubiak. We will put that full interview out again. But if you're ready, Teddie, just give me the thumbs up when you're ready to rock and roll. Damn, he's ready to rock and roll. Well, we had him on right after he was drafted to be a Baltimore Raven. Now he's had year one under his belt as a Baltimore Raven. And on top of it, he can add an accolade of being named to the all-rookie team. Let's bring on Ravens linebacker Teddye Buchanan. Teddie. Oh, you're muted. You're muted, Teddie. You got the mute on.
Fellas, am I
Oh,
good?
there you go. You're great, man. You're golden.
Okay,
now.
cool.
Hey, what's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm doing great. How you guys doing?
Doing great. I remember we talked to you right before the draft. Congrats on year one. Congrats on all rookie team, dude. You were balling. I know a lot of people are wondering, how you feeling? How's everything going in the process and getting right?
Yeah, well, first of all, appreciate you, Ryan. I remember that first time I was on, and that was a lot has changed since then, so that's pretty cool to think back to that. And nah, man, I'm feeling great. Obviously didn't end the season. I personally would have wanted to, injured and everything, but surgery was a success. Everything's been going great in terms of rehab, and I'm getting up and feels great to be able to move again. So I'm just excited for attacking this process and getting back to it as soon as I can.
And you will. Don't worry. I know the tape speaks for itself. You're a grinder. You keep working. And it felt like that's the thing I hate in this, but it's the business, right? Of you had a lot of things you learned as a young player, and it felt like every week, dude, you were learning, you were figuring it out, you were getting better. And then, injuries happen, and now it's just a small little speed bump. You'll get right. You'll get rocking. Well, maybe not about we know how the season ended up, but maybe for you personally, explain to people as a rookie, what was one thing maybe for you that you learned the most from year one of being an NFL player? What was maybe one of those challenges that you had to adjust to the most?
Yeah, I would say one of the big things I learned was, and I think it's kind of impossible to know going in, but it's just learning your process every single day, what you need to do to be ready mentally on game day, be ready physically on game day. And, as a pro athlete opposed to college, like we're not going to class, we're not doing anything else except really our job. So finding ways to utilize that extra time that I have. And, for me, that was like body work. And obviously the film study it's a whole nother thing that I had to learn, but I would say just my process. And I feel like I started to develop a really good process as the season went on, and just continuing to do that as I progress.
Yeah. I mean, well, they'd say college football now is become a little bit of more of a business than it's ever been. And they're getting paid to play, and you're having more opportunities. But the NFL, it's a different world, right? And this is the best of the best on every Sunday. And you have to continue to make your adjustments, find your process, find what makes you tick. And you were. The one thing I guess you're finding out, because I don't know the answer. I know Zach doesn't know the answer. I don't know what's ruled a catch or not a catch specifically. I think one moment, because I'll say it. You don't have to. I thought you made a great interception earlier this year. I thought that was a great play.
Appreciate that.
But no one really knows on that front. I know I'll throw to Zach here in a second because he'll have some questions. But because it just happened, I saw you Instagram story this. So your boy Fernando Mendoza.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah. Dude, it's crazy.
Give me some insight here. So you guys played together at Cal, and then I see him every single week after the game giving his post-game heaters, and then he's flying through the air in the national championship. Can you give us a little bit of a backstory with Mendoza with your time together?
Yeah, Fernando was a great quarterback for our team. He was a guy that I truly wanted to play for. Like, he's a leader that you want type of guy. You can just see it. He loves the game. He prepares, probably the best I've ever seen out of a college player. And, Yeah, me and Fernando, we used to have some really good ping pong duels back in the day. They got pretty intense. He's a good ping pong player. I'm a good ping pong player. So we got after it. It was pretty fun.
Who's better?
I mean, I got to go with myself, but I won't lie. We had some close battles, so it was really hard to say.
Okay, so we'll just say for this sake, Mendoza is the Heisman winner, but he's not the best ping pong player. I'm gonna go with you, Teddie.
Yeah,
Go with you on this
yeah.
one. Zach, you got some questions?
Yeah, Teddie, we just kind of brought it up about, time flies. It feels like just a few days ago, we were sitting doing the first interview. You were about to move out here to Baltimore. If you could go back and maybe give yourself one piece of advice on that day to carry you through your rookie season, what would you say?
Man, I would just tell myself one day at a time, because I think about, the beginning of OTAs, beginning of camp, beginning of the season, to kind of how I felt, more towards the end of the season as I had gone through all that and got comfortable. I just feel like it's a huge, huge difference, and it doesn't even seem like the same person. And I mean, that's just growth in general, but just tell myself one day at a time, and where I am in the moment is not necessarily where I'll end up. So just having that faith and belief in that.
Yeah, and then I do have to bring up, because people in our chat are going nuts about, is the NFL putting on the, like your pro weight? Because I'll be honest, everyone's saying you look jacked right now.
Yeah,
like,
you look yoked.
Is that something that maybe took a step up where you're like, oh, this is legit when you get to the pros? Like, there's a difference in your college strength versus your pro strength.
So I don't know. I mean, I feel like I was pretty strong in college. I don't think I'll touch some of the weights I did in college, but no, I did put on a little bit of weight this season. It definitely helped me, and no, I appreciate you calling me jacked.
Wait, you're not getting that compliment around, man? No.
No, I get it once in a while.
Well, you know what? I was going to talk about, some of your experiences. Did you have positive experiences with Nick Moore? Because if you didn't, you let me know. I'll go kick his ass right now, because he keeps going, oh, hey, I'm surprised he doesn't hop on. He gets mad. We had Stout on, and Nick wanted to just hop on, and he called it his show. Welcome to the Nick Moore Show. And then he got upset that he wasn't a part of a thing Jordan and I are going to do. It hurt his feelings. But you let me know. Did Nick treat you well?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah, he did. I got to give it to him. He was a good leader for our punt team, and yeah, love Nick. He's a good dude.
Well, so on that kind of note, there are some people that maybe take you under their wing, or you can learn a lot from. And look, you came into a situation in Baltimore this year now that's happening, that there's going to be changes, right? But even with things that didn't go your way, you learned a hell of a lot. Is there maybe a couple guys that maybe helped you a little bit, that maybe you followed their game? Maybe it was a mentor outside of the Ravens that you maybe leaned on a little bit? Because one thing I do know, when things don't go well and things are frustrating, there's a lot of negativity. And through the negativity, though, you find out a lot about yourself. But then you also find out that there's some people that are really in your corner that can help you continue to grow. And that was the positive I saw. But do you have a couple guys that maybe come to mind for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would say within the team, there's been, the vets, and especially Rowe. I mean, playing alongside Rowe, like, obviously, that is huge for a young player like myself. He's, the best backer in the league. Just the things he does, the way he is a quarterback for our offense. Like, to see, our defense, just to see a guy like that go to work every day and get to be around him constantly, and then also get to build a connection off the field like that. That was huge for me. And then I'm just fortunate and blessed to have people in my life that I know are in my corner. I trust are in my corner. It's my friends and my family, and I've been able to lean on them, because being in the NFL, the truth be told, there's ups and downs, and things don't always go perfect. But I've definitely found those people, and you kind of find out who's truly there for you. And I'm grateful to have those people in my life.
Yeah, it's good. You're learning. You got a support system. How old are you again, Teddie?
23.
23. Damn. Do we want to? Do I want to make him play this game? Teddie, real quickly, let's play this game. How old do you think I am? If I take the hat off, see,
the hat off is going to make it.
Time out. So I don't have, dude. I don't have what we call great hair. That's what you have. The comments in there, Brad saying, "Damn, your hair's flowing, Teddie."
Appreciate that.
You've seen the Ripken hairline, dude. I'm freaking screwed. But anyway, I'm gonna put the Peaky Blinders hat back on. How old do you think I am?
Let's go 38.
Oh,
that's way closer than most people.
It is close to that. So Monken came on, and Monken just roasted my ass. Todd was saying, you look 42, but that hairline shit. And I'm like, damn, Todd. All right, good to see you, man. I'm 32. All right,
so not far off.
Not 6 years is better. You're the best guest so far.
Oh, I'll take that.
And I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Brandon Stokely, 50.
I thought the picture was good too in the little ad. I thought it was a good picture.
You like that photo? I meant to ask you that.
Did.
So let me bring that back up for a second. So this was a couple of years ago. It's a little grainy, But look at that smile, I'm trying to build we're all about building each other up here. All right, Teddie. I needed that, man. I needed that from you.
I mean, the suit looks good. Your smile looks great. I like it.
Teddie, I need you on more. I need more of that in my life. I get shit on over here by Zach.
I'm just calling it like it is over here.
Calling it like it is. Do you like the hat though?
Brandon Stokely.
Oh, Brandon Stokely.
52.
Oh no.
That was a tough one. That was a tough day.
That's not right.
Yeah, that was foul. That was foul, Teddie. Hey, so overall though, you settle into my hometown. Baltimore treats you well overall?
Absolutely. I mean, like being on the West Coast, I grew up in the Bay Area, so you don't see like as religious fans, I'd say. So it's been really cool. It almost feels like a college town to me in terms of the support for the team and just, you go around and people are super nice and supportive. So it's been great, and I'm doing my rehab here in Baltimore, so I'll be around. I'll get to check out a bunch of different spots, and I'm looking forward to. This might be my first year on the East Coast, really, so I'll get to explore, different cities and whatnot on the East Coast, and it should be fun.
You got a follow-up that?
Yeah, well, not even really a follow-up. Just was kind of curious as we were talking here. Do you think you had or what would you consider your welcome to the NFL moment, if you have one off top of your head?
Man, really, I would say it was training camp, and it's not really humid in California like it is out here.
Yeah.
And when my shoes and socks were squishing and I could see the sweat coming out of my cleats, that's when I was like, oh, this is real. So, I mean, I can't even really think of a play necessarily, but just that moment will always stand out to me. And I look back on it and laugh, but in the moment I was not laughing too much.
Yeah. At the moment it was like, oh, this kind of sucks. This is it. We are going to be drenched 24/7.
Yeah, welcome to humidity.
Yeah.
Teddie. Welcome to this side of the country.
Yeah, it's welcome to the humidity moment.
Oh man, it's brutal. But you're going to be around here. Okay, well, I offer this. Well, Nick only texts me if you need something, which he gets mad. He's he's around all year, by the way, too. But if you ever need anything, I got you. I'm glad that everyone and everything went well. I'm here. So I'll find a way. If you need something, we could even link up. Hey, if you like the Orioles, I might know a couple people or two that we can go to a game too.
Absolutely.
You let me know.
I love that.
You been to a game yet? Yeah.
I did. I went. They played the Nationals. It was right when I first got here, but yeah, I did go.
Yeah, we can make that happen again. What was I going to say to you? Oh yeah, that's right. With all the chaos of it, are you still keeping up with your art? You still working?
I have been. I got some art, nothing crazy, but I got a few in the vault. I might have to pull them out, but yeah, I've been drawing, especially when I got hurt. And I was just sitting around. I drew a little bit, so yeah.
Hell yeah, man! I love that. It's good, and I'm glad you have a hobby you're sticking with. Look, this is your job now. It's fun. It's exciting to play ball, but you need to be able to decompress. And also you're damn good at it. I'm not. I have no musical talent. I certainly can't draw. I think I can dance. Teddye, I can't. Oh, actually, what would you rather have? Would you rather be an excellent dancer, or would you rather say you can dance okay, or that you have great energy when you dance? It's a good question. No?
I would say great energy. I feel like that's like displaying. If you could just dance okay, it's like okay. That means you're trying, but you're not actually good at it. If you have great energy, it's like I feel like that's more important.
Damn. Yeah, that's what I do. I bring some energy. It's
No,
not
that's
always
important.
pretty. Yeah. Don't look at me, Zach. Hey, you know what? Let's play another game. Teddye, how old's Zach? Look at him.
Zach looks about 29, 30.
Boom. Turning 26 in 2 weeks. So that
Okay.
3 years is way closer than 6, by the way.
Okay.
Just so you know, Ryan.
Yeah, this is.
I still got in the 20s.
It's tough. It's
Just
really,
saying.
it's really tough.
The beard. It's the beard.
It's the beard. It's the beard. Oh man. Well, it's really all I got for you, man. I wish everything went better. It's always in this part here, right? Of this business, it's hard. There's a lot of change. Like you just want to do a change where I haven't seen anything differently in 18 years in Baltimore, at least for Harbs, and gotten to know him over the years. It's a different circumstance, but I think you're going to find out what you've already figured out. It's a really good organization. It's a lot of great people. And I think you kind of knew that going in, but after year one, even though things didn't go right, from what you've told me, I think that's what's ring true, right? Am I hitting that?
It's spot on. I mean, yeah, just to be, I feel blessed every day to have come to an organization like the Ravens. And I know, it's a lot of change, but, being a Raven is not going to change, and we'll continue to do that and continue to grow and push forward and just do things the right way.
Before I let you go, then, what was one of your favorite moments of the year? What made it was a personal moment, team moment? I joked about the interception, not interception, because that turned out not to be a great moment. It could have been.
Yeah, no,
Should have been. But
that moment,
what did you enjoy? What sticks out for you? Some of your favorite moments in the 2025 season?
Man, I just think about there would be moments, before the games, national anthem's playing, you're kind of just looking up into the crowd like, wow, like I'm here and I'm about to go right now. And, I feel prepared. I feel confident, and like what better feeling than that? So there was a lot of good moments and a lot of moments that I kind of tried to take a step back and really appreciate, because you only get to be a rookie once. You only get to experience these things for the first time once. So yeah, just felt super blessed and super excited, and it was fun. So can't complain.
See, then next time we continue to talk, Teddye, you're gonna be a vet, man. You're gonna be just one of those vets now, not the young buck running around. You still will be Jack, though. I'm assuming you'll still have great hair. But yeah, man. I mean, you also notice here, if you embrace the city, which you've had, and you put your effort in, people are going to love you. People already love you, man. People are pumped that you're here. You'll get used to the humidity.
No, I'm used. I got used to this cold. If it is,
oh, I forgot about that, man. Yeah. What? Okay. What's worse for you, being too cold or being too damn hot?
I honestly feel like I do a little bit better in the cold than the hot, but you get used to it either way.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, you'll adapt. You're going to become a Baltimorean before you know it. But I will. I'll reach out to you. Anything you possibly need or places, whatever I can do to help you, man. I'm excited that you're here. I'm glad you're doing better. Congrats on a great first campaign. And I know the best is yet to come for you and the team. So, Zach, any final words for Teddye?
I hope you have your snow shovel ready, because we're this weekend. It's going to be tough.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah. I still don't. I will say you'll come to learn. Sometimes every year they do this where it's like big snow and then it doesn't happen. But I'm starting to think we're actually going to get got this time.
Yeah. I've also heard that, but
is it true? Like,
I'll be ready either way.
I think so.
You'll be ready. Yeah, it'll be fine. Wait a minute. That means that I have to shovel.
Yeah, I do too.
That's going to suck. All right. Hey, Teddie, appreciate you, man. Be good. Continue to do your thing. And I'll touch base with you soon. All right.
Appreciate you, Ryan.
All right.
Thanks,
Teddie
guys.
Buchanan, everybody. He's going to be great. He's going to be great. And you guys all know my biggest, the highest compliment you can give someone, being a good kid. He's a good kid, man.
For sure.
And he's got the right mentality. It's going to work out. And I love the fact that he's getting comfortable being in Baltimore. Maybe not with the humidity. He'll get there. I love that was one of the first moments. Yeah, it's humid here.
I think something that's really funny as well, and maybe this is – my chair got messed up. I'm trying to do this for the vertical. Something I think is always so funny because Jordan Stout, I think, talked about it a little as well, or maybe it was Kohler. No, I think it's funny when guys come from non-football cities and they'll be like, yeah, it's like a college town. And because for me, it's the opposite. I'll be like, I'll see a place like the Georgia Bulldogs and I'll be like, man, they act like an NFL franchise's fans. And then they look at us and like, oh, you guys actually care about the NFL? And we're looking at them like, you actually are diehard NCAA fans. So it is always funny when he's like, it feels like a college town, like with how much they support the team. Because in my head, I'm like, yeah, this is our football team.
Yeah.
So I do love that. And I love that he's seeing the support from these guys because he deserves it.
He does. And look, early on for a lot of the guys and a lot of the team, it's tough. And this expectation for rookies where sometimes a rookie's going to come into the NFL and light the world on fire. Like, the one that pops up into my mind, you can go back to what? Micah Parsons, Saquon Barkley, even Odell when he came into the league. You want to talk about Justin Jefferson. But on the defensive side specifically, it's hard to come right in and just be a star from the jump. Now, some are, but think about Kyle Hamilton. Look at the adjustments Kyle Hamilton made from the early parts of his rookie year to what he is now. And I'm not going to say that Teddie's going to go on and become that superstar, but what I do love is the fact that Teddie had moments where he learned and is going to continue to get better and better. But the biggest thing is you got to have that right mentality. And already just talking to him, Zach, Teddie's got that mentality. So the biggest thing is get healthy, see what can happen in year 2, and you hope for the best. But I love people that love being in Baltimore, love being a part of where you are. I think that's also, it's different, but that's a big reason why John Harbaugh is a New York Giant, is the new head coach. They wanted him. They wanted to have him, and then he felt that, and he wanted to be there. Happens the same thing on the field. You go where you want to be wanted. Maybe that kind of leads into the next side of this as we move from football over to baseball. And maybe as we take a quick trip then, I want to take a quick trip around. Can we take a quick trip around Maryland, Zach?
Yeah, one sec.
We can. If you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Whammy. Around Maryland, brought to you by our friends over at Next Move Charm City and the Belanger team at Lone Depot. If you are looking to make your next move, whether it's city, suburbs, or shore, make the right move with Next Move Charm City and the Belanger team at Lone Depot. Shannon, Brett, and Rich will get you right and get you where you want to go. Now, there's not a lot that is being talked about down with the Terps. Not yet, at least. It is. The Commanders, it's still not a lot there. So why don't we just stay in Baltimore for this one, Zach? We'll just go from the Ravens to the Orioles. Well, it's not necessarily what the Orioles have done yet, but I talked about feeling like being in a place where you're wanted. Being in a place that you feel wanted. Well, Pete Alonso felt wanted, and he made it feel comfortable. Now, of course, money makes you feel a little bit better, but Pete said in his press conference, I felt wanted. I felt like this organization is going to help me get to that next step. And Orioles fans are hoping that's the case, Zach. They are hoping that the Baltimore Orioles are going to go back to the World Series for the first time in 42 years. Well, they still got some work to get done this offseason. More moves need to happen. But a move actually did happen in baseball, and it's not the Baltimore Orioles, but it does impact them. The New York Yankees, Zach, they did it. They signed Cody Bellinger. This is Jeff Passan's tweet. Cody Bellinger signs back with the Yankees for 5 years, $162.5 million. And there are opt-outs after the second and third season, and there's a $20 million signing bonus and a full no-trade clause. Zach, we mentioned it before. The Yankees, they had to do this. They had to get this deal done. Two things that come to my mind in this. One, Cody couldn't get more money elsewhere, or it didn't make sense. And that's why last night you saw Luis Robert, which we'll get to in a second, was traded from the White Sox to the Mets. And that seemed like maybe the domino that started this, that the Mets were saying, hey, we're out on this. But the other part is that Cody got a good payday, but it didn't match close to what Kyle Tucker got, right? Like it didn't go to that level. But I wonder because of that, the opt-outs came in. I think that was kind of the compromise here, is that they didn't go to 7 years.
Yeah.
They didn't add more money, but they did say, hey, we'll give you opt-outs after the second, third year. And if you stay here, we're not going to trade you. So good for the Yankees, Zach. I think this is a move that they didn't need, that they didn't want. It's a move that they 1,000% needed to make, and they did it.
I mean, you talk about needing to make a move. This was probably the biggest need to make a move in all of baseball, because if they lost Bellinger, especially, I mean, not that Oriole fans would want this, but especially if he went up north to Toronto, this was a catastrophic offseason. Not a bad offseason, not a, oh, they could have done more. Catastrophic. And now they, you have some more flexibility. Jason Dominguez, Spencer Jones, one of them has to be traded for pitching at some point. So you get a little more crammed there, but it's a good issue to have. You're never going to be upset they have too much talent, similar to what the Orioles have at first base right now. But I think the biggest thing is this is probably a 2-year deal. If things go the way Cody Bellinger at least suspects they will, because that's why he wanted these opt-outs. If he wasn't getting the full 7, he wasn't getting, hey, give me, whatever it is, 30 million a year for 7 years. I'll take this. And then I will go out and have 2 more, hopefully for him, career years, because let's all call it like it is. It is pretty fun to be a left-handed hitter in Yankee Stadium, especially if you got some power pulling the ball. And Cody Bellinger proved that last year of, hey, I am going to continue, if I'm playing here for 81 games a year, to put up stats, to put up numbers. And I don't see why in 2 years he can't reach, I'm not going to say a Tucker level contract, because $60 million is ridiculous, but I wouldn't be surprised if he kind of re-ups in that, hey, I'm going to get a 5-year deal closer to maybe 170, 180 mil in 2 years. Because if he performs in New York, I think his biggest thing is he didn't want to marry himself for 4 or 5 years when he felt he could, if he performs well, get even more for a longer term. So he's saying, okay, New York, if I do what I'm going to do, what I think I'm going to do, I'll be here for 2 years. I'm sure he asked for an opt-out after 1 and New York didn't budge, because I'm just knowing Boris and how opt-out. I'm sure Cody was saying, hey, I want an opt-out after 1 to try this again next year. And I'm sure New York was like, no. Especially we all know how weird 2027 is going to be. He gets the 2 years until the opt-out. Then an opt-out after the 3rd as well. I think this is a 2-year deal in most cases, but good on the Yankees, because the Yankees had to get it done. Good on Bellinger getting a decently big deal. I mean, this is a big deal.
It is a big deal.
Yeah.
It is a big deal, and it's one of the top free agents now off the market. And you're looking at a lineup when we're discussing, in this case, what the Yankees would or wouldn't be without Cody Bellinger. Now, just like I'd say with the Orioles that they don't get another pitcher, just like the Yankees didn't get another bat, will they compete? Absolutely. Can they have success? Absolutely. But the upside of your team, there are some worries because you have to be a little bit more refined, a little bit, not going to say perfect because in baseball you're going to fail all the time, but your room for error is less. And for the Yankees, you're banking on Aaron Judge continuing his just dominance. And if he's not dominant, then the other pieces have to prove that they can pick it up, which they could, but that's a lot to ask. And you've seen what the team's like when Aaron Judge gets hurt. So that's a tall ask. Cody Bellinger, yeah, he was great. And not just great from an offensive standpoint, he's great from a defensive standpoint. You can plug him in a lot of different places, and he can impact your team. So it's a great move for the New York Yankees. But now it leads, Zach, to the remaining free agents. And Mark Feinstein just had this tweet out. Let me see if I was able to screenshot it. Nope, it didn't happen because my computer's out of storage. If you could pull up the remaining free agent tab, Zach, I think I bookmarked it. I did just bookmark it. On Mark Feinstein put out the tweet on best available guys. So in this case, there are a few still big names that are out there. But there it is. There's the tweet. Bellinger's back to the Yankees, so the top remaining guys are Suarez, Valdez, and not the pitcher Suarez, Eugenio Suarez, the third baseman, Luis Arraez, infielder, Zach Gallen, right-handed pitcher, Chris Bassett, and Lucas Giolito, two more right-handed pitchers, which, look, if we're talking about good value, those last three pitchers, Gallen, Bassett, and Giolito, actually could be a very sneaky value. But that's not what Oriole fans want to hear. That's not what really any fan that's looking for a top-tier pitcher wants to hear. They're looking at one person and one person only, and that is Framber Valdez. And now with the Mets trading for Luis Robert, that was the deal that happened last night. Mm-hmm. Mets trade Luis Robert the White Sox trade Luis Robert to the Mets, and it finally ends this, situation where the White Sox were hoping Luis was going to play better. The value hadn't fully been there. They were hoping he'd get back to a little bit of what he was in 2023, where he had 38 jacks. And if you look at if you were going to say, build me a baseball player in a lab, Luis Robert would be one of the models. He's a physical specimen. He's a beast. The problem hasn't been healthy all the time. And then he's had some regression then when he has been healthy the last couple years. Now, if you believe he's a superstar, and we've talked about this in the past, Zach, contract-wise, it's a good situation to be in because for this next year, you're paying him $20 million. And if you like him, you exercise the club option for next year, which is another $20 million. So you could possibly, if you think he's a star, this is a discount. But again, he hasn't reached the numbers that people have wanted over the last couple years. And that's a big reason why teams have been hesitant. Because I don't blame him. He hit 223 last year with 14 home runs. And you want to go back to 2024, he had 14 home runs and 35 RBIs and hit 224. It'd be different if we're going to go back to 2023, where he played 145 games. He hit 260, which, hey, that's okay. But the bigger part is he had 38 RBIs. He scored 90 times. That's production that teams want. And if you buy that, and that's what the Mets are doing, they said, we'll take the upside on a year or two of Luis Robert and hope it works, than going to pay more for Cody Bellinger right now, which now in this case, Cody could be back in it, like you said, Zach, after a couple of years. He's back in the mix of it. So with that being said, the Mets then, they didn't spend a lot of money because they're taking on the contract for Luis Roberts, the $20 million this year. Well, Framber Valdez, then they could certainly be in on. And from what I understand, the Orioles are still in on the Framber Valdez sweepstakes. And the interesting part, Zach, when we put out the tweets about Verlander and doing all of that, I don't think I ever said that Verlander was your answer. I don't think you even said the answer. If you sign Verlander, and in my mind, if they signed Verlander, it's because you missed out, and people should be disappointed. It's not like last year where Verlander is going, oh, that's the big signing. No, I'm not saying that. But if you're looking at depth, the Orioles still lack depth in their starting rotation. So if it's not Verlander, then Bassett, Giolito, or Gallen, one of those guys needs to come to Baltimore, in my opinion. It has to happen. Could you trade for Freddie Peralta, Zach? Like, you could. It's still out there. But Framber Valdez is still dangling there. And I think Framber Valdez, the years part, I'm really curious if Framber Valdez is getting a 4 or 5 year deal right now. Zach, I'm hearing back and forth on, the value of that. And I do think that's a big problem. I don't think that the market is as hot as Framber wants it to be, and they're trying to wait out for a team to get desperate to get it over the finish line.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously not just going off of what we've kind of heard, seen, and rumors. I think this deal would be done if there weren't concerns about what happened in Houston last year. I think there are genuine concerns because that's something where a guy with the track record of Framber Valdez on the field, when you look at his numbers, should have been the first one off the board. He should have been the one that everyone was waiting for. He goes, and then the rest of it is, okay, how does it fall after that? I don't think he's getting a long-term deal because I don't think teams want to marry themselves to Framber Valdez for 5, 6, 7 years. I think he is going to get a 3-year high AAV contract, maybe an opt-out after the first or second year. And I think this is going to be something where he almost has to prove, like, hey, we're all good here. Like, because it's one thing if he was a free agent who you were going to give $10 million to. You can take that risk. If you're going to give him, especially for what he wanted, which is what would have been close to what Cease got at 2 years or 7 years, $210 million, it's a big risk, especially if you are concerned about maybe some clubhouse things, some off the field things. So I think the biggest thing is years. I think the sweet spot's going to be 3 years. I think he gets 3 years, close to maybe 90 to 100 million, right over that 30 million per year mark. And I think they go from there. You'll probably have an opt-out after the first and second year. And I just think that's the structure that they have to go with if you're Scott Boras and them, because it's very clear no one's budging. Like you said, it's almost like they're sitting there like, hey, someone's going to get desperate. Someone's going to get desperate. And it reminds me, honestly, a little bit with Blake Snell. And you can say, oh, eventually he signed and all this stuff. Yeah. And then had a horrible beginning of the year because we've talked about, especially pitchers, you need to get ramped up. You need to be in that mindset. Too many other things, signed before spring training. And he got a short-term deal with Snell. Like, it wasn't, these guys ended up taking prove-it deals. And I think it's going to be very similar at this point for Framber. Maybe not a 1-year deal, but it wouldn't shock me at all if he ends up with a 3-year deal and there's opt-outs after the first 2, because he wants to get back out there and prove, hey, I am this guy. You can give me a long-term deal. And I think other teams, any team in Major League Baseball, is going to be like, hey, you come here, you take care of business. We would love to have you, but we don't want to marry you for 7 years. I just think that's risky with all pitchers. So I think that's where we're at. I just don't see him getting above 3 years.
No, and the bigger thing with Framber overall, right? He's not a Boras guy. He's not. I know you said that a couple times. I know you think it's somebody else.
I'm thinking
it's not. But it's whether it's Boras or not, and he's not a Boras guy. To emphasize that, it's the still part of. All right, you just saw Ranger go for $26 million a year. You think you're a better option?
Ron Hare.
Okay.
Yeah, we actually got that. He started his press conference with that. His actual pronunciation of his
Ron
name.
Hare.
Yeah, it's Ron Hare.
Ron Hare. Well, now we remember.
Yeah.
Now we remember. But Ron Hare is trying to get the best deal possible for Framber Valdez. So this is actually, in my opinion, Zach, if the Mets give a 5-year deal, he probably goes there. But if it is a 3-year deal, Zach, if it is a 3-year option on the table, the only reason in my mind that the Orioles should not get him is if truly you think that there are problems that would happen from a standpoint in the locker room and a culture, and you have serious doubts. If that's the case, you're trying to change certain things. And again, I don't know Framber. I don't know what's happened there, but clearly that has been a huge impact this year, Zach. Like that's something you can't hide. That has been talked about. It was discussed at the winter meetings, for God's sake. It's talked about. So if there's reservations there, I will say, hey, you make that choice, fine. But if it really only takes a 3-year deal to get Framber Valdez, and say it is $30 million a year, maybe 35. If I'm Baltimore, that fits exactly what you'd want. Right? Doesn't that play into it? 3-year deal. You don't want to give big deals to pitchers? That would be it, if that's the case. And again, I'm just putting the GM hat on for me. If it took 3 years, $100 million, I think you do it. And I only don't do it as if I am so convicted that that's going to mess up what I'm trying to build in the locker room. That's the only reason. Mm-hmm. But if Framber gets 4 or 5 years, yeah, I don't know if Baltimore pulls that off. But that's to me, the 3-year deal would make a lot of sense. And I would be shocked then if I see him sign somewhere else, Zach, for 3 years and it's not the Baltimore Orioles. That would shock me. Unless the Mets gave 40. If the Mets give 40, then sure. But a 3-year deal that's around $30 million a year, I would be shocked if they weren't able to pull that off. It would. And for Orioles fans, I would understand why they'd be disappointed because it feels like it fits all of the makings of what you want, at least for right now. So that is going to be the fascinating discussion here as we move on into it. And there are some big names still. Zach Gallen, I just mentioned, he's still that wild card. Truly is. Like, what's he going to be, Zach? Is he going to be like Zach Bollinger on Sundays in softball, just at a top Cy Young MVP type level? He could.
People talk about it.
Or it could be Zach Bollinger after a night out in Fed.
Also
Boy,
on
is
Sunday
hurting.
morning.
Yeah.
It depends on what Sunday morning, you know.
So it can go either way.
It very well can go either way. We're having a lot more of the latter recently. A lot more of the latter.
Okay. Well, you're working. You're grinding.
That's what we do.
That's what we do. And those are still like those are the two storylines that are happening right now. Now I just wonder, does Freddie Peralta get back into the mix? Like, do the Brewers actually trade him? When they did make a Corbin Burns trade, they did make that deal very close to spring training. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying it's the Orioles, but if I were the Yankees, you just signed Belly, I'd pick up the phone and call the Brewers. Say, what's it going to take? Which prospects do you want? Any team. If I'm any team right now, I'm still calling the Brewers.
Yeah.
But you got to sign them. You have to, like what the Red Sox did, they traded and put their money where their mouth was and made the deal. They made the trade and they secured Garrett Crochet long-term. That's the difference with Freddie Peralta as well. You got to do the same thing. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, I was just going to say, is his agent, he is not Scott Boras talking about Peralta because of
it's not around here.
No. It's Clutch. No, he moved on from Clutch Sports.
Also, the other thing, by the way, if you think Freddie Peralta, the sign and trade is that's the option for teams. What do you think Freddie Peralta wants to agree to on an extension? Because I don't see anything anything less than $26 million a year if that's what Ranger Suarez got. I think it's going to take at least 30.
If you trade for Freddie Peralta, there better be something going on, and it better be long term. That's an ace. That's an ace. I'd give him Dylan Cease's contract because he's what, just under 29. I was gonna say just under 30. So he turns 30 this season. I'd give him the
I'm just looking at the logistics of how the Orioles are constructed. After this year, you got to make a choice on Trevor Rogers, right? So if you want to keep him, you got to have that conversation. You're looking down the line at some guys in-house, which, by the way, I know people hate. I shouldn't say hate, but people get really down on the Dean Kramer option. It shocks me how many people just don't think that Dean has a significant value. If Dean was a free agent this past year, he would have gotten paid a lot by somebody. Not saying 20, 30 million a year. But if Nick Pivetta last year got 4 for 55, Dean Kramer was 35th in total ERA last year. Like, there's a value there. And I'm not saying the Orioles are going to even keep him, because if you want to keep Trevor Rogers if he has a Cy Young year, well, guess what? Trevor Rogers is going to cost a lot of money. Kyle Bradish is going to cost a lot of money. Oh, and then, by the way, you have guys like Jordan Westberg and Gunnar down the road and Jackson. And maybe we got to figure out what you do with Adley Rutschman, right? There's a lot of question marks. And yes, we are based in Baltimore, but it's also interesting that Baltimore, for both sports teams, are very at the national kind of forefront when it comes to making moves here. And we'll see what happens here. It's a wild card will be the next move, but I do think that the Orioles, they're going to have to do some move, and whether or not it disappoints their fans, we're going to find out one way or another. And Brooks, I see you. I knew you were going to say Woodruff. Woodruff's interesting to me, but at the same time, what does that look like? What does that exactly look like? Time will tell. But speaking of wild cards, Zach, if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show. Do this live every Monday through Friday right here on YouTube, X, and Facebook. We've played interviews or clips from the interview with Gary Kubiak. We have we had live Teddye Buchanan. That was great. He was great. Rooting for him. And then we just talked a little baseball. But Zach, on Wednesdays, we get a little wild. And by wild, we go down a rabbit hole of maybe conspiracy theories.
Today, actually, I already brought up today's because I saw it mid-show. It's not even really conspiracy. It's just we want to talk about wild. 8 years in Philadelphia media, and they blatantly, like, there are now stories. I was just looking it up. All the stories from Philadelphia sports right now are about how for 8 years they mispronounced Ron Harris Suarez's name and just put Ranger. And it's crazy because, one, Ron Hare did not correct them. And it kind of brings me back to, reminds me of the Jason and Travis Kelce, because their last name's actually Kels. And their dad was so tired of correcting people, and he just didn't really care, that he went and was like, yeah, just Kelce. And he just kind of let it go. And now all these years later, it's now Travis and Jason Kelce, but their dad's name was actually Kels.
Well, then we have Bijan Robinson was Bijan.
Yeah.
And now he's like, just call me Bijan.
Yeah.
It's like,
because it was like what his mom calls him is Bijan.
So many things there.
I feel like that happens way more than we probably even know, because guys just don't, like, if Ron Harris Suarez never came out and was like, hey, like literally took time out of the press conference because they were like, hey, Ron Hare would like to specify what his name is. You just wonder how many other players are out there that we say their name completely wrong and they're just like, whatever. And they just go on about it. And then we just never know that is just not Ron Hare Suarez.
Ron Hare.
Yeah.
So is that the wild thing for us?
That's the wild thing. I was trying to find more wild things, and honestly, most of it is about still everyone talking about the 49ers injury stuff, because I don't know if you saw, but a bunch of the 49ers went to the Warriors game the other day to support their basketball team.
Yes.
And Jimmy Butler just blew his, I think, Achilles, ACL. And everyone is blaming the 49ers still.
That's tough.
Yeah. What? Let me see it.
There's a lot, what? It's just, maybe the wild card Wednesday. We got owners of teams taking out your longtime head coach.
Just as a wacky day in general.
Wacky, wild. That truly probably was the wild thing of, okay, surely this, what was it?
Torn ACL.
Torn ACL for Jimmy Butler. Surely, though, we're going to stop the press conference. We're not going to continue to go on and bash our player. Oh, you know what? Let's bash our coach and then our current player on our roster. I over or under within 10 minutes of that being out there in the open, Zach, that Keon Coleman's agent isn't calling the Bills to say,
Get him the hell out of here.
We're done here.
I'm taking my trade value with me. I'm publicly saying I'm not playing for this team. Come get me. Don't give up more than a sixth. Like I would be like, I don't want to help them out either. You know what? Bring Keon to Baltimore. Let's get a chip on our shoulder for Keon.
Maybe that will be it right there.
If he goes somewhere else, though, I'll be looking at him in fantasy. That's a revenge tour, Keon Coleman now.
And then if he plays Buffalo, definitely you're gonna put
the dumbest bets I'm gonna make if he goes somewhere else and plays Buffalo, because we've already decided I would be floored if he's back there next year. Like because it's not like the owner threw you under the bus and we're like, yeah, this is what the other coaches were, the former coaches or former GMs were saying. Like the GMing owner were just kind of buddy about like, yeah, no, that was a horrible pick, but that was on them. And you're just sitting there like, okay, still in the building. Like I'm not a free agent. I saw some people talk about it earlier. Like there were a lot of things that the Ravens in their press conference could have bashed. Not once did they name a player that was even a free agent, former player. Like there was none of that. To do it about a current player is crazy.
Because what is the upside here?
Also, here's the wacky. I think James Harrison accidentally broke that the Steelers are moving on from Patrick Queen. Did you see that?
No.
Yeah, Patrick Queen was tweeting some really
cryptic things
over the last few days. And then I guess on Debo and Joe or whatever, the Joe Hayden and James Harrison's podcast, James Harrison was talking about a bunch of things they didn't agree with in Pittsburgh. And he was like, yeah, they've already moved on from Patrick Queen. Everyone's like, what? What do you mean? So here, let me try to
so that's the wacky. So I don't see anything out there.
But
if you find that clip, I'd love to see it. Because the shit would be bananas. What if, let's get wacky here then. What if then Patrick Queen comes back, we have him on the show, and we got to say, hey, the pressing thing we have to talk about is, did you really mean that the food in Pittsburgh is better? Did you really mean that? Because that was like, first off, he was doing grade A trolling when we went to Pittsburgh. Grass is always greener. He had some wine and a lawn of grass or whatever. But to say that the food is better, that was bold. I'm just saying. But hey, while Zach's looking that up, if you guys are new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. And again, subscribe to the channel. Follow on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, at Ryan Ripken Show. We're trying to put out more and more of the content and clips everywhere. The Gary Kubiak interview will be out for everyone later on today. And you can listen to all this on Apple and Spotify as well. So again, look, guys, we want to keep bringing you these great interviews. We want to keep bringing you more content. We have a lot of great plans for this year, and you guys are helping us get there. So continue to spread the good word. Become a channel member to be a part of this. And on Fridays, we have our call-ins back for our Rips Better Kids. So besides that, our channel members are finding out when our bigger guests are coming on ahead of time. Also, you can call in on Fridays for the Better Kids, and Rip After Dark will get that rocking and rolling again, Zach. And that's where things get a little bit crazy. But what's been crazy has been our schedule, and what's been crazy is the last couple of weeks here. We've had some great guests. We got a great guest tomorrow, too, but it's on the baseball side. So channel members, be on the lookout for that. You're going to get that hint soon who's going to be joining us to kick off tomorrow's show at 3 p.m. Did you find that clip?
Yeah, I did. Let's listen to this.
Let's play this James Harrison clip.
I want to say it's close to $5 million.
No, for sure. They can save that
in cap space.
Yeah.
Now you go and you look at other people's contracts like that, and hell, they already let Queen go.
The Steelers are doing what
you can almost tell. I think Joe Hayden was like, I don't think that's public information.
So it's either that he's like, I'm not going to call out my guy from saying they haven't made a move, or it's like, is that public information? Should we be saying that? It was one way or the other. And that's where the wild card wacky, that's where you put it out.
I just don't know what else he could be referencing.
I don't know.
Like that, like genuine, like I don't know. And especially because Patrick Queen has kind of had some more. Let me try to pull up his Twitter real fast. He's definitely had more cryptic tweets. I can't even find it. I can't find his Twitter right now, but it just kind of felt like when he brought that up, everyone, even Joe Hayden, was like, oh, okay. We're gonna move past that real fast. But yeah, they got picked up by a few people on Twitter because I was just scrolling and I saw a tweet of like, did James Harrison just accidentally let the cat out of the bag that Patrick Queen isn't coming back? And I saw a bunch of those that clip going around. So maybe that's happening. I don't know, but that looks like a possibility. Maybe James Harrison accidentally broke that.
He might have accidentally broke that. You know what's also been out there now? A couple things. Just had my train of thought get lost, but it was something that I wanted us to talk about. Yeah, it usually comes back to me. It's all coming back to me. Oh, yeah. To recap a couple things in the football space of head coaches, the Bills are interviewing Brian Daboll, by the way. And if he doesn't get the job, Diana Rossini is reporting that there's an expectation that Brian Daboll would go to Tennessee to be the offensive coordinator with the new head coach, Robert Saleh, and the Tennessee Titans down there. So that's that thought. And then the other ones are talking about head coaches and going places. We're saying wild. How about the spiciness with Baker Mayfield last night? Did you see that tweet? Can you get that tweet prepared? Can you find that so we can get that up? And while we're doing that, we'll see if his mic's working properly. It might not. It won't be. Guarantee. It's always over under a half that Kevin's mic's going to be working. But let's bring on from Locked On Kevin, a.k.a. Locked On Ravens, Kevin Ostreicher. Kevin.
Testing. Hello.
Yeah.
I think it's good.
Wow. Yeah. That's a milestone right here.
Real fast, Kevin, did you see the James Harrison stuff about Patrick Queen?
Yeah, I did. Yep.
Yeah.
Did you guys just react to that?
Well, we just brought it up.
I just brought it up.
Yeah.
What's going to happen here? I don't know.
Which is interesting. I mean, actually, I don't know his contract specifics,
Right.
but I know that it was essentially, because I know it was a 3-year deal, but I think they can get pretty significant savings. So they would get 14 mil in savings, or I guess like 13 point something. So 13, 14 mil if they release him. That's definitely happening if it hasn't already. Like
they only are on the hook for 3.8 million in save.
Yeah, that is 100% happening.
Yeah.
I did like how it was the who was it, Joe Hayden, who was on with him?
Hayden, yeah.
Joe Hayden was just like,
So it's either both ways of like, hey, dude, you said something you shouldn't say, or it was the other one. I'm like, I don't think that's accurate, but I'm not going to correct him. Like, he's my friend. I don't want to say anything. Or it's like, oh, shit, that was not out there. And either is who the next head coach could be for the Steelers, which apparently, too, Mike McCarthy is an interesting candidate for them. That's been thrown around there, and curious to see all that. But, Kevin, you're just in time to react to this one on this wild card kind of spicy Wednesday. The Falcons, they welcomed Kevin Stefanski as their new head coach, and then there was some couple comments out there saying, well, Stefanski had to deal with so much. He had to deal with all of the Baker Mayfield situation and how much of a disaster Baker was and how he just didn't pan out. Well, then, did you see that tweet? Baker Mayfield then responded. Zach, you got that tweet? There it is. So this tweet that Baker responded to, I'll read that tweet first, that says, Orlando says, Falcons Kevin Stefanski had a dumpster fire at quarterback in Cleveland. Baker Mayfield and Deshaun Watson failed, which started a chain reaction to 11 other starters. Quarterback Shedeur Sanders closed out last season with 7 starts. Well, then Baker Mayfield quote tweets that and said, and I quote, failed is quite the reach, pal. Still waiting on a text or call from him, meaning Stefanski, after I got shipped off like a piece of garbage. Can't wait to see you twice a year, coach. Guaranteed primetime game. Give it to me week 1 next year. Give me Falcons. Give me Bucks week 1 right off the jump. I like Spicy Baker, Kev. I'm a big Spicy Baker.
I don't know if I'm the only one that put this comparison together. And I know that this isn't like a super NBA type of show, but I mean, this is a Maryland show. And Derek Queen, there was something, I think it was the Falcons posted something about the Saints or something, and Derek Queen responded with like the exact time the Pelicans played the Hawks of like November or January something at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. Like that's like, mark your calendars, get ready. It's about to be crazy. So yeah, honestly, put both of them in prime time. Let's do a Thursday night. You got a Monday night. Like, and plus, like, we're getting all the drama because Zach, didn't you? Was it you who made the Cohen and Salah? Because they fought after the
We
the
got
game.
a lot of drama. We got the Ben Johnson and the Packers, the Packers. You got Liam Cohen and Robert Saleh saying he'll effing end you to Cohen last year after the 49ers and Jags game. And now we have this. I mean, like I put out there yesterday, I could not be happier that hate is back in the NFL. We were lacking a lot of hate, and I'm glad it's getting back there. I don't want them to be friends. I don't. Like, I'm sorry. I understand the sentiment of off the field, do whatever you. I want the storylines. I want rivals to not like each other. The best part about Ravens Steelers was the Big Bens, James Harrison, Casey Hamptons, Hines Wards versus Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, Terrell Suggs, Jarrett Johnson, Haloti Ngata. And you know those guys literally did not like each other. I mean, to the point where I remember when Joe Flacco was playing against the Steelers, I think it was this year or last year, they asked Ben Roethlisberger, they're like, oh, did you go down and hang out with Joe? And he's like, I said something in passing to him. Like I said, hi. Like we're not didn't really reach out to him or anything. And I think it's because of the rivalry. Like you weren't buddy with your rival. And I think that makes for fantastic games.
I mean, the reference right there is a little bit of, you got to have that, again, earmuffs if you don't want to hear it, but you got to have a little bit of that, like, hey, fuck you type of, in you. Like in sports, we saw it a lot more in the previous decades because there was that animosity. And even though with the Ravens and the Steelers, there's a respect, there was a hate between the lines, and you could feel that. In the NFL, yeah, you were starting to see that come back. The Falcons, Bucks will be very interesting. I'll tell you what, if Todd Bowles has another colorful post-game rant like he did after that game against the Falcons, I'll sign up for that, of just completely losing his mind. Oh, I mean, and they lost a huge fourth quarter lead on top of it. But I mean, that makes to the rivalries. It's not that you have to hate the team, but even Ben Johnson, which maybe that one was a little bit strange, but guess what? The Bears and the Packers, who do you want to see next year? You want to see Matt LaFleur and Ben Johnson, and what the hell the next interaction is going to be. Like, it's good TV. Good TV.
Even look, Ravens and Patriots, I know, like, since Brady and all that, you know, it hasn't been like the rivalry it was. And I know that obviously Ravens Steelers is the big one, but man, Ravens and Patriots, they had their time of that being like a go-to matchup. And, you know, am I remembering it right? I might not be. Well, the point still stands of like getting back to that would be really cool. And I know that, hey, Drake May is going to be around for a while. Lamar's going to be around for a while. Like having that. What was it, the Patriots game, guys? And maybe you can help me out with it, but where like Ronnie Stanley was like so hyped up, he almost was like fighting the refs, and like, was that game?
Was that?
I can't remember what game that was. It the first Pittsburgh game? But you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I can't remember.
It's that it was because it was the Cincy game because Draymond Jones did the crying thing.
That's what it was.
To Burrow, and like
Burrow,
and that was, you know, the tears were gushing, as you might say, from Draymond as he was doing that. But I mean, look, that's the type of rivalry stuff you want, of like it's not like, oh, I hate you so much, but it kind of is in a way of like, get that back into what some of these teams do, where it feels like a lot of it, and they're professionals and it's buttoned up to an extent, but I want to see the passion in some of that come back.
Well, in this case, though, like honestly, the other ones were saying, hey, there's a respect. I don't think that Baker has a lot of respect for Kevin Stefanski. Like, if his tweet means that, it's personal. Like, his is personal. And Baker's always taken it that way. You can go back to college a little bit. Baker had a little bit of the gesture, a little crotch grab against Kansas because he felt disrespected, right? That's an iconic moment. But Baker's been true to who he is, and I love that he's vocal. But in that one's personal. Other ones might not be as personal, but that on edge, it does drive. I think that's also kind of what PQ was trying to do. But PQ was hurt. That's a personal thing. But it wasn't that the Ravens did him dirty. Just like, we don't have that value for you. So then PQ tried to have some grass and, some wine and say that food's better in Pittsburgh, which was just.
I will say best top 3 NFL rivalry from the past 10 years is Ravens-Titans. That, 4-year window from 19 to probably 3 years, 19 to 22, 19 to 23.
That was a good one.
That was hatred. Like that was you didn't want to be the home team because like you wanted your logo nowhere on that field because they will find it. I used to joke with my friends, like, it is a horrible rivalry to be a logo on because they're going to find your logo and they're going to dance on it, because that was, I will always remember, obviously it didn't end, the way they wanted to, but that playoff game in Tennessee, the interception and the entire team being like, give us 45 yards of penalties if you want. We're all running to the logo. And just having that picture where it's like 20 guys on the field, you see all the flags flying. Like, that was pure hatred. That was pure hatred. And that was a fantastic rivalry. And in a lot of ways, like kind of what you brought up, Kevin, like, I think it started with, obviously Harbaugh's not with Baltimore anymore, but at Vrabel and Harbaugh, it started there. And then both teams were like, yeah, you don't do that to my coach. Like, nah, sorry, not happening. And that was fantastic.
Do you remember when it's not, obviously there's going to be the stuff with Baltimore and Washington and that whole, DMV, that's not really the DMV thing. But, at the same time, when, do you remember that preseason game when, what are you doing?
The kicker, remember after he made the,
I'm like, why are you showing an L to me right now? And I'm like,
he was running around the
you're doing it, you have to do it. Yeah. But that's one, yes. But remember when Kamar Aiken got pile drived into the ground in that preseason game and Harbaugh went across the field and almost fought Jay Gruden?
I forgot.
Bring it back.
Like that, and Steve Smith got ejected in that game.
Yes.
Like, that's the type of stuff. That's the type of stuff that we want here. And I think, honestly, Zach, this might be a tweet that you said because it feels like something you'd tweet. But find me someone who, if for a rivalry, find me someone that hates the team as much as Jamar Chase hates the Chiefs.
God, that wasn't me, but
find me true. That.
Yeah, won't even say them. Won't even say, like, that's
up there.
Yeah, like that type of stuff is what we need back in the game here. That's what I'm saying.
And even that didn't last long because, unfortunately, the Bengals the past 3 years with injuries and stuff haven't been up to full strength. Like, but that looked like it was. It looked like Ravens Buffalo was going to be a good one. I hate to be this guy. I think sometimes the amount of parity in the NFL right now hurts the rivalries because for a while, like kind of with the Chiefs and Bengals, when you kind of like Ravens Bills, when you always are playing the same team, it feels like the same team eliminates you. There's that animosity that kind of builds. Like Ravens Titans didn't just start. It started when the Titans went out and beat the Ravens in Baltimore for what was supposed to be the magic carpet ride into the Super Bowl in Lamar's second year. That starts, then you see him again the next year. Then you see him again the next year. Then you're playing him again in the playoffs, like Chiefs and Bengals. And then that stopped. Love, the fresh blood in the NFL and all the, the new ones. But I do feel like right now, because of the parity, the only downside to this season and like we've never seen this is we didn't get Ravens, Bills in the playoffs, Bills, Chiefs in the playoffs, Bills. I know people are going to be like, well, we don't want to see the same teams every time.
Well, yeah.
There can be different outcome in the Super Bowl, but I would still like to see season on the line, Bills, Chiefs. Like, that's just fun.
Yeah. And Ryan, I don't know if you've experienced this just from your career, but it's almost like when you have 5 or 7 game series against teams in postseasons, or you're playing the same team for a week on end, or you're there for a while and you're just like, you're playing these guys over and over again. And so you start and you're like, oh, this is cool. And then by the end of it, you're like, I hate those guys. I hate those guys.
We had one team where it got super chippy or there's a couple teams that we would play throughout. There's just one team that really just pisses you off. And maybe and you possibly see that pitcher over and over again if you're a hitter, or there's just a lot of jawing. And we've had a couple of those moments throughout my minor league career. It wasn't even series. It's just you get buzzed or something, someone gets pissed off in the wrong way, then it's kind of builds, because then you have to wait till you play them later in the season, and you got to play them for 3 games. The 6-game ones, 6-game stretches coming out of COVID, that playing a team for a week, there was some moments there, and it still just wasn't as much as it was pre-COVID. But yeah, Kev, there are moments where I've had certain pitchers that I faced where there was chippiness. A few pleasantries were said, hey, how you doing? I hope you're doing well. Good to see you. And we'll see you in a month, 2 weeks. And, there wasn't any like huge brawls, but like that's how I also think the game's just changed in general. So you just don't see it as much because they talk about being fined. If you go talk to old, not Oriole players, but I guess you could. But like back in the day when you talked to Buck Showalter about playing the minors, and even I talked to my dad or my uncle, there just wasn't rules back then. So it's like you want to get in a brawl, you're going to get in a brawl. Kevin, I don't know if you saw that one story my dad said about Drungo Hayeswood, where they got in a huge fight. And then the commissioner of the minor leagues comes down to AA because they're facing that team again. And they're like, hey, just want you to know, if you get in a fight here, you're suspended and it's coming out of your paycheck. And Drungo said dead to the commissioner's face, well, you might as well take that money out of my paycheck right now, because it was just personal. It's not as, I think because so many people are involved in the circuits throughout, the exposure process, getting into college, there's a lot more interaction, that there's more like buddy, that's more in this type of generation. Kev, I don't know if you saw the quote yesterday, and even on like a leadership side, Mike Pedden made a quote since he was here with the Ravens. And I thought this was really interesting. We're going to put that reel out later, where he said there's people, when there's disagreements or there's frustration, it gets taken the wrong way, even on your own team. And I said, well, you were around some greats, the defensive side in Baltimore. He goes, yeah, and talked about Ed and Ray. And he goes, there's some guys that say, follow me. And then you sometimes don't know if, okay, am I really going to follow this guy? He said for Ray Lewis, it was not a choice. It was follow me or else. Like you're like, oh shit, I ain't messing with Ray. And he was such a good leader that way, but the accountability was there. He was in people's faces. He knew how to press the right buttons, but he wasn't afraid. And I think that also brings out the best in players. Brandon Stokely and the Saragusa conversation. Saragusa was hard as hell on Brandon Stokely and those guys. Peyton Manning, Tom Brady were sometimes just complete jackasses to some of their teammates, not out of a thing of hate, but that was that energy that you need to match. And then when you have that on your team and that energy then goes on the field, that's where I feel like the hatred starts. I think that's also why the people hated the Pats so much, was Tom Brady's intensity.
Mm-hmm.
Tom was a smack talker. Tom liked to get pissed off. And I think that went into why the Patriots were so damn good, but that's also why the rivalries happened. Tom welcomed it. He loved it. I miss that. It's coming back.
Yeah. I will say just a quick comment about the biggest rivalry in the NFL right now. We just got some more confirmation actually adding on to it between the 49ers and the electrical substation.
Oh, boy.
GM John Lynch has confirmed that the 49ers are officially looking into it. So maybe they actually are like, oh crap, I think this might actually be, because like we can make jokes about everything, but then you look at the data and just how many more like soft tissue injuries are happening and ligaments and all. And it's like, there's one thing to have an outlier for a season or so, but they're an outlier in like the past 15, like since they, and like it just sometimes it's just, I am just excited to see what we find there. Does suck though. Super Bowl being there, if anyone goes down, that's gonna be brought up. So that's a big.
You guys got to be careful. I don't want to see you guys coming back with a torn
Kevin,
ACL.
if you see me on the crutches,
you got the crutches. I'll know what happened.
You're gonna see the ambulance leaving the.
We'll get it on you get it on the stream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zach Torres.
Breaking.
They're carting him off.
We're going to have Schefter break the news specifically. Yeah, it should be good. We are planning to go to the Super Bowl in a couple of weeks. It's crazy. It's a couple of weeks away.
Weren't we just at spring training?
And then spring training's right after that as well. It's a never-ending cycle of the sports world. But one thing we are going to continue to have this show Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern time right here on YouTube, X, and Facebook. You can also listen on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcast. And before we finish off this stream one more time, Zach, we got to head to one more stream. And there's AutoStream Car Care Center. Once again, everyone, $50 off when you mention Ryan Ripken at any of the 10 locations. We all get car issues. We all have problems. If it's brakes, tires, or you need something checked under the hood, they got you. $50 off. Just mention Ryan Ripken, and don't take my word for it. Check out all the Google reviews out there of just high quality, high service there at AutoStream Car Care Center. Now, from that stream back to this stream, guys, it's been a day, it's been a night. Appreciate Merit Clubs behind Zach's Hollywood Casino Charlestown races in West Virginia. Was 0 for 1 this week.
Yeah. Hook 2, which is the worst. As I was telling Ryan, I live bet when Indiana went up 10. I was like, this is going to be a closer game than we'd think. I just had a feeling, so I live bet. I alternated Miami plus 3.5. So I had Indiana minus 6.5 to win by 7 or more, and Miami plus 3.5 to lose or win, but to lose by 3 or less. They were down 3, and Indiana kicked a field goal to go up 6. To be the only outcome where I didn't win.
Somehow I think that's more impressive than you actually winning.
And then so I don't think anyone was more like that false start by Indiana on the 2nd and 1 that then was kind of like, oh wait, this is a game again. No one was more. I was yelling at Miami players. I was like, let him score. But even though it made strategically no sense, like that would have actually officially ended the game. I was like, let him score. I see why people say this is ruining sports.
Sports. Ruining.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of because isn't yesterday the day that's like the stuff that bothers you?
Yeah, grind my gears.
Yeah, what was it yesterday?
What was mine? Mine was Zach getting all emotional and getting down, and then making me get emotional and down. And then Mike Pedden comes on the interview later and goes, man, it's getting a little emotional early. I'm like, because whose fault is this?
That was on me. That was
what happened? You all right? Are you good?
Kevin, all I said was I was upset because I realized we only have 3 NFL games left. I start off, I was like,
not all you said.
Oh, I said,
not how you worded.
I was like, Kevin, I started off, I had a monologue. I started with, I'm depressed. It's like, as the clock struck 0 last night, I realized we only have 3 games left. and all that. So I went on a monologue just about how, like, hey, it feels like we were just kicking off with, what was that? Chiefs Eagles? Was that the first game of the year? I'll say it. It still feels like Isaiah Likely's toe was out of bounds like 3 weeks ago. And that wasn't even this season. That's how, like, fast I feel like everything. Like, I feel like Cedric Mullins just hit that solo home run in the playoffs to tie the game 1-1, and I thought, oh, we're going on a run.
Yeah.
Life don't catch you fast.
It does. It does. And look what you've done. I put a lot of blame on you, Zach, for my emotions. Kevin, that's where I grind my gears. We did have Nate do Let Me Put My Poems in You last Friday because you weren't here.
How'd that go?
It went
The
really
worse
bad.
than anything you've ever done.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes. He was like, "Oh, I'm confident." Mid 2000s pop, kind of hip hop, and I thought I laid it up. Zach even got it.
What was it? Can I try it? Can I try it?
I can't remember the exact lyrics, but when we get to it, when you say "Come get me," she had me feeling like she's ready to blow. Watch out! Oh,
watch out! Oh,
baby, come get me. So I got up and followed her
to the floor. I said, "Baby, let's go." So yeah, okay, yep. Mm-hmm.
And then he goes like, "So I asked her a question or something."
Oh,
yeah. Like, no. And he goes, "That Usher?" And we go, "Yeah." Yeah. He goes, "No, so it is Usher." I'm like, "Yeah,
okay.
it's yeah."
All right.
We kept going, yeah, over and over. And he's like, "So it is?" And we're like, "Yeah." He's like, so what? And then he goes, "Yeah, the song, yeah, yeah." We're like, "No, it's just yeah." Like we tried.
He didn't know how to take that.
Because the other one is the Lil Jon song, right?
No, that is Lil Jon. I mean, he's in that one.
Yeah, I mean, Lil Jon.
Well, no, I know, but I'm just.
He's, it's ludicrous at the end though of take that and rewind it back. Lil Jon got the beat to make your booty go.
Yep.
And then take that and rewind it back.
That's an all-time. That's an all-time banger.
Booty go.
Yep.
And then take that and rewind it back. Ludacris got the flow to make your booty go.
Yeah, that and Low by Flo Rida were like.
Have you ever considered that the fur wasn't a part of the boots? Like that the fur was separate? Like it was a fur coat?
Interesting. Interesting theory.
Reba posted this. The only reason is Reba went to the Super Bowl last year and posted a picture of her in like a big fur coat with boots on, and she captioned it "boots with the fur." I remember it went viral on Twitter because everyone was like, "It never crossed my mind that the boots were separate from the fur." I just always pictured the boots that had the fur.
Okay.
But I'm sorry we're asking the questions, Ryan.
We just need Flo Rida on to ask him specifically. Let's add that to the list of our guests because you know what? We got to get the hell out of here. But here's one more thing before we go. We will give more answers to that. We will be back tomorrow. And for our channel members, you're going to find out who one of our guests is going to be. And this time, we've had a lot of football guests. This one's going to be a baseball guest. And if you're a Baltimore fan, you're definitely going to want to tune in at 3 p.m. to see who that is. But channel members, you'll get that first. Hit that join button and get the action before everybody else. Final words, Kev?
Final words. Come back to me in a second.
No, that is the final words.
I was hoping Kevin was going to produce for us, but hopefully we produce tomorrow.
We'll try that again tomorrow. Kevin, that was a good try. Is how we close that out with you. And how we close this out is we cue that music, Zach. That's all you can give us, Kevin? As always here on the Ryan Ripken Show, we appreciate each and every one of you. Have a day, have a night, have a great stinking rest of your Wednesday. But don't worry, we'll be back tomorrow live here at 3 p.m. on YouTube, X, and Facebook.
Cold outside. There you go.
Oh, good one, Kevin.